The rain relentlessly pounded the city streets, its rhythmic beat akin to a mournful dirge for the doomed souls residing within. I found myself standing beneath a flickering street lamp, its feeble light casting eerie shadows on the wet pavement. The heavy downpour had penetrated my trench coat, leaving me drenched to the bone, the frigid cold seeping into the very marrow of my being. Frank Mercer. That's my name. A detective with a checkered past, haunted by more secrets than accolades adorning my office walls. But there was one case, a mystery that had consumed my every waking moment for the past 5 years. A case that had become an inescapable specter in the depths of my troubled mind. I'm talking about the enigmatic Order of Shadows. Whispers of this clandestine society had permeated the city's underbelly, swirling like elusive tendrils of smoke, forever out of reach, but suffocatingly present. They were rumored to be a group of deadly assassins, ethereal beings that emerged from the shadows under the cloak of night, wielding otherworldly blades and scythes adorned with ancient, glowing runes. To most, the Order of Shadows was nothing more than a myth, a figment of imagination conjured by those who sought thrill in the darkness. But to me, they were more than just whispers and tales, they had become an all-consuming obsession. I had delved deep into the murky depths of the city, following every lead, interrogating every lowlife, and sifting through countless layers of deceit. The case had become a labyrinth, a puzzle with no apparent solution, and yet I couldn't tear myself away from its grip. The more I dug, the more I realized that the Order of Shadows was no ordinary criminal organization. They operated with a precision and cunning that surpassed anything I had encountered before. Their victims were not random, they were carefully selected, their sins unforgivable. The Order acted as the judge, jury, and executioner, meting out their own brand of justice to those who had evaded the clutches of the law. But justice, in their eyes, was not blind. It was swift, merciless, and carried out with a chilling sense of purpose. I had seen the aftermath of their work firsthand. The lifeless bodies, marked with intricate symbols that spoke of a darkness far beyond the realm of ordinary crime. The city trembled under their unseen influence, a palpable fear that hung heavy in the air. No one dared to speak their name aloud, for to do so was to invite their wrath. But I was not one to cower in the face of danger. This case had become my personal crusade, a quest for truth and redemption. With every passing day, my determination grew, fueled by the darkness that lurked within me. The skeletons in my closet were nothing compared to the secrets that the Order of Shadows held. And so, beneath the flickering street lamp, in the midst of the relentless rain, I made a silent vow. I would unveil the truth, expose the secrets that the Order had woven into the fabric of the city. No matter the cost, no matter the sacrifices that lay ahead, I would confront the shadows and bring them into the light. For it was only then that I could hope to find solace and redemption, both for the city and for the demons that haunted my own soul. My latest lead had come to me through an unlikely source, an informant who seemed to be harboring secrets far greater than most. The man, visibly jittery, had shared a tip about a clandestine gathering taking place at a dilapidated warehouse on the outskirts of town. It was a gamble, a shot in the dark, but I knew I couldn't let this opportunity slip through my fingers. The truth, the elusive truth that had been shrouded in darkness for far too long, was out there, waiting to be uncovered, and I was determined to be the one to bring it to light. As I approached the warehouse, its towering presence loomed over me like a haunting monument to forgotten sins. The crumbling walls and broken windows were a testament to the neglect and abandonment that had befallen this place. Stepping inside, the air was heavy with the distinct odor of mildew mingled with a metallic tang of blood. The darkness was suffocating, almost palpable, broken only by the sporadic flickering of dying light bulbs hanging from the ceiling. With my senses heightened, I moved stealthily through the gloom, my hand firmly gripping the handle of my trusty gun. Every nerve in my body was on edge, my heart pounding in my chest like a relentless drumbeat. The silence was deafening, save for the distant echo of my own footsteps reverberating through the empty halls. And then, amidst the oppressive stillness, I heard it. A faint whisper that sent shivers down my spine. It was a sound so soft, yet so sinister, like the wind whispering through a desolate graveyard. My curiosity piqued. I followed the eerie sound, my footsteps barely making a sound as I glided through the shadows. The anticipation was palpable, my heart pounding in my ears, as I ventured deeper into the unknown, driven by an insatiable thirst for the truth. As I turned the corner, my breath caught in my throat. Before me, a scene unfolded that seemed to defy reality itself. Two figures, locked in a fierce and deadly battle, commanded my attention. The clash of their weapons reverberated through the air, sending a chilling resonance that seemed to seep into the very depths of my soul. The first figure, a woman of remarkable stature and elegance, moved with an otherworldly grace. Every movement she made was like a carefully choreographed dance, each step imbued with a haunting melody. In her hand she held a blade, its surface etched with ancient runes that glowed with an ethereal light. This was none other than the Whispering Blade, a name that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors. Legends whispered of the horrors she had wrought, her blade slicing through her enemies with a terrifying precision. Her opponent was no less formidable. Another woman, her tear-streaked face illuminated by a ghostly light, stood defiantly against the Whispering Blade. In her hand she wielded a scythe, their edge pulsating with arcane symbols that seemed to come alive with each strike. This was Weeping Wendy, a name that carried with it a tragic past and a reputation for deadly precision. Her every movement was a testament to her skill, a dance of sorrow and vengeance that struck fear into the hearts of those who dared to face her. The clash between these two formidable adversaries was a sight to behold. Their weapons collided with a force that seemed to shake the very foundations of the world around them. Sparks flew, illuminating the darkness with a fiery brilliance. Each strike was met with a countermove, a display of skill and agility that left me breathless. As I watched, I couldn't help but feel a strange mixture of awe and trepidation. These were not mere fighters, but legends in their own right. The tales of their prowess and the fear they instilled had spread far and wide, reaching the ears of even the most hardened warriors. To witness their battle was to be a part of something greater, a moment frozen in time that would be spoken of for generations to come. And so, I stood there, transfixed by the deadly dance unfolding before me. The clash of steel, the haunting melodies, and the pulsating runes created a symphony of chaos and beauty. It was a sight that would forever be etched in my memory, a testament to the power and artistry of these two remarkable women. The clash of their weapons reverberated through the vast expanse of the warehouse, filling the air with an electrifying energy. It was a sight to behold, a mesmerizing display of skill and power that left all who witnessed it in awe. Each blow they delivered was a testament to their mastery, a seamless combination of technique and raw strength. Their weapons, imbued with ancient magic, sang with a haunting melody as they clashed, creating an ethereal symphony that echoed throughout the warehouse. The sound was both beautiful and terrifying, a harmonious dance of death and destiny that held everyone in its spell. In the midst of this intense battle, the Whispering Blade, a formidable assassin known for her deadly precision, made a swift and calculated move. Her knives became a blur of silver and light as she aimed for a killing blow. However, Weeping Wendy, a defiant warrior with eyes ablaze, was not one to be easily defeated. With her scythe raised high, the runes etched on them glowed with an otherworldly intensity, enhancing her strength and determination. But it was in that critical moment, as the clash of their weapons reached a fever pitch, that I knew I had to intervene. Stepping forward into the dim light that filtered through the warehouse windows, I raised my gun and directed it towards the dueling assassins. The weight of the situation hung heavy in the air as I shouted, my voice filled with urgency and authority.
"Stop! This ends now!"
The words hung in the air, a declaration that resonated with finality. Both the Whispering Blade and Weeping Wendy paused, their eyes momentarily shifting from each other to me. The intensity of the battle slowly dissipated as they realized the gravity of the situation. Silence descended upon the warehouse, broken only by the heavy breathing of the combatants and the distant sound of their weapons clattering against the ground. The tension in the air was palpable, as everyone present awaited the outcome of this unexpected turn of events. As the dust settled and the adrenaline began to subside, I took a moment to assess the situation. The two assassins stood before me, their eyes locked in a silent battle of their own. It was clear that they were both formidable adversaries, driven by their own motivations and desires. But in that moment, I also saw a glimmer of uncertainty, a hesitation born from the realization that their battle had been interrupted. With a calm yet assertive tone, I spoke again, my voice cutting through the silence.
There is no need for further bloodshed. Your fight has been witnessed and your skills acknowledged. Let us find another way to settle this dispute, one that does not involve violence.
The words hung in the air, a challenge to both the Whispering Blade and Weeping Wendy. It was a proposition for them to consider, an opportunity to find a resolution that did not involve the continuation of their deadly duel. As I waited for their response, I couldn't help but wonder what fate had in store for these two warriors, and whether they would seize the chance to forge a different path. As I stood in the warehouse, a sense of eerie stillness enveloped the space, broken only by the rhythmic patter of raindrops on the roof. Both women, their eyes filled with a mixture of recognition and something else that I could only interpret as fear, locked their gazes onto mine. It was as if time itself had paused, holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. A silent communication passed between the two women, their glances at each other speaking volumes. It was a wordless conversation that conveyed a profound understanding, a shared knowledge that transcended spoken language. And then, in an instant, they vanished into the shadows, their forms dissolving into the darkness as effortlessly as a whisper dissipates in the wind. I stood there, my heart pounding in my chest, my mind struggling to comprehend the gravity of what had just transpired. The realization washed over me like a chilling wave. The Order of Shadows was not a mere figment of imagination, not a myth whispered in hushed tones. They were real, tangible, and now I had witnessed their presence firsthand. The runes etched onto their weapons, which had once emitted an ethereal glow, flickered one last time before dimming into oblivion. It was as if their power had been temporarily harnessed, only to be extinguished in the face of their imminent departure. The air around me felt heavy with the weight of their departure, leaving behind an indelible mark on the warehouse. In the wake of their disappearance, I found myself rooted to the spot, my mind racing to comprehend the implications of what had just unfolded before my eyes. The game had changed. No longer was I an outsider, stumbling upon whispers and rumors of a secret society. I had unwittingly crossed their path, and they knew it. Fear mingled with curiosity as I pondered the repercussions of this newfound knowledge. What did the Order of Shadows want with me? What secrets did they hold, and what dangers lurked in the shadows they called home? Questions swirled in my mind, intertwining with a sense of trepidation and an insatiable thirst for answers. With each passing second, the gravity of the situation settled deeper within me. The Order of Shadows was not a force to be taken lightly. They were a clandestine organization, shrouded in mystery and darkness, with motives that remained hidden from the world. And now, I found myself entangled in their web, a pawn in their intricate game. As I stood there, gazing at the empty space where the women had stood just moments before, a newfound determination welled up within me. I would not back down. I would not allow fear to dictate my actions. Instead, I would delve deeper into the secrets of the Order, unmask their true intentions, and unveil the truth that they so desperately sought to conceal. The game had indeed changed. Armed with curiosity, resilience, and a burning desire for justice, I would navigate the treacherous path that lay ahead. The Order of Shadows may have known I was onto them, but little did they realize that they had awakened a dormant force within me. A force that would stop at nothing to unravel the enigma they represented. As I turned to make my exit, a sudden flicker of movement seized my attention. In the dimly lit space, a figure stealthily slipped away into the shadows, barely discernible. My heart skipped a beat as recognition dawned upon me. It was Elias, a name that had surfaced repeatedly during my relentless investigation. But he vanished into the depths of the darkness before I could even muster a reaction, leaving behind nothing but an enigmatic presence, like yet another elusive phantom in the intricate maze of this city. Leaving the confines of the warehouse behind, I stepped out into the rain-soaked streets. The downpour seemed to wash away the tension that had gripped me, but it did little to dampen the resolve simmering within. The truth was undeniable. The Order of Shadows existed, and their sinister assassins roamed freely amidst us, concealed within the very fabric of our society. With each step I took, the sprawling city sprawled out before me, its labyrinthine alleyways and treacherous corridors serving as a metaphor for the web of darkness and deception that shrouded our existence. But this encounter with Elias was merely the prologue to a much larger story, a tale of intrigue and danger that had only just begun to unfold. With an unwavering determination, I vowed to delve deeper into the secrets of the Order, to expose their malevolent intentions and bring justice to those who had fallen victim to their nefarious schemes. The city may have appeared as a daunting labyrinth, but I was prepared to navigate its twists and turns, armed with my resolute spirit and the unwavering belief that the truth would ultimately prevail. As the rain continued to pour, its relentless presence served as a constant reminder of the darkness that loomed over me. In that moment, I realized that the Order of Shadows was not simply a case to be solved, but rather, it had escalated into a full-blown war. A war that I was determined to win. With an unwavering resolve, I made a solemn vow to myself. I would not allow the killings to persist any longer. I would strip away the veil of secrecy that shrouded the Order and expose them for the malevolent force they truly were. It was time to shine a blinding light on the shadows that threatened to consume the city. The city became my battleground, and I prepared myself for the fight of a lifetime. I knew that it would be a grueling and treacherous journey, but I was ready to face the challenges head-on. Every step I took, every lead I followed, brought me closer to the truth that lay hidden within the depths of the Order. With each passing day, my determination grew stronger. I was no longer just a mere observer, but an active participant in this war against darkness. I had glimpsed the faces of my enemies, and their presence fueled my relentless pursuit of justice. I would not rest until every member of the Order of Shadows was held accountable for their heinous actions. The rain served as a constant backdrop to my investigation, mirroring the murky and tumultuous nature of the task at hand. It was a reminder that the battle against the Order was not for the faint of heart. It required unwavering courage, resilience, and an unyielding spirit. But I was undeterred. I had seen the truth, and I would stop at nothing to reveal it to the world. The Order of Shadows may have thought they could operate in the shadows indefinitely, but their days were numbered. Their reign of terror would come to an end, and I would be the instrument of their downfall. I knew the road ahead would be perilous, and the challenges I would face would test my mettle. But I was prepared to fight until my last breath, to uncover the truth and bring justice to the victims who had suffered at the hands of the Order. The rain continued to fall, but it no longer dampened my spirits. Instead, it served as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, a single determined soul could ignite a spark that would banish the shadows and bring about a new dawn of hope and justice.
Your support means everything to us. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for more shadowy delights.